Hi, I'm David Brinkley and welcome to my website Following the Call, or the social media platform that you're watching this on. Now, before I explain my ministries and what I'm doing right now, I thought I'd explain a little backstory on how I got to where I am right now. So, I was born in Virginia, and I was born to my dad, Michael Brinkley, and my mom, Denise Brinkley. Now, soon after I was born, we shot off to Japan to become missionaries, and for the first 2 years of my life, I was a missionary kid. From there, we returned to Virginia and soon after headed to North Carolina, where we planted ourselves as my dad was the new lead pastor of a church called Ure Christian Church in a little town called Ure. Now, something to know about Ure was it was a country area. So think about this. Your neighbors live a mile away and things like that. It was a very country farming area, and I absolutely loved it. It was there that I made friends who would be lasting throughout my entire life up until this point right now and will last for years to come. Our family was only 45 minutes away, and it was a great place. Here, as a young boy, at the age of around 8, I really developed a heart for worship and just praising God. And I would write songs, and I have full just books written of songs that I used to praise Him. Now, obviously, as I was 8, they wouldn't hold up that much today, but the heart behind it showed the worshiper's heart that I had at a very young age. Now, the name my parents gave me was something they prayed on. David. It's prophetic, a king, a worshiper, and a fighter. And that worshiper aspect truly came out when I was a younger boy. Now, my brothers and I really enjoyed North Carolina, but Caleb, Micah, Evan, and I had grown sharp ties to people there. Sadly, though, God moved us to Florida soon after. So at around the age of 13, our family uprooted and headed down to Florida to help plant a church. Now, it was here that we had no family, no friends, and no one that we knew. We were just following God's call, and to many, it didn't make much sense, and even still to us who did understand, it was really hard to leave behind those friends and family that we had grown so close to. Now, when we got there, it was a very hard struggle to get our planting for this church. We started in a house, and then we moved to Regal Cinemas. We were there for a bit, but things started to go downhill as mall management there didn't allow us to stay for too long, so we headed to where we are now, the YMCA. Now, it was here in this section of time that I transferred from homeschool to public school. Now, over my homeschool years, I had been grown in a very Christian home, and changing to that public school atmosphere was very hard thing for me. It was something that I had never experienced before. The world was something I had been sheltered from, and coming into this head-on was kind of jarring for me, and I didn't really know how to take it at first. Now, I had been trained and knew the Bible very well. My faith was not something to question, but something that did happen to me was depression, as something that comes up to many people, and that was something I struggled with in high school, and something that through my senior year, that was one of the hardest things for me. However, with God's help, He started to show me a path that He wanted me to take, and that path began with a gap year that would be doing DTS. Now, what is DTS? I'll explain in another video, but it was through that school that I did that my life was changed. That my center on Jesus, yes, I had been a Christian, but my heart and relationship wasn't really there. You can call yourself a Christian and yet not have a relationship. And a relationship was something I was lacking in my Christian life that I had as a child and then seemed to have lost. Was I still a Christian? Yes, but it was just based on the rules and the things I knew that were right, but I didn't really have a connection to it. Through DTS, I gained a connection to Jesus, a relationship, not just a reason of, I know this is the right thing, so I need to do it, but it became a thing of, I know this man, he's my best friend, and I want to be with him. And because I want to be with him, I spend more time with him. Because I spend more time with him, I become more like him. And because I become more like him, I hate the things he hates, and I love the things he loves. And through that personal connection I created with Jesus and have with Jesus now, and I'm walking in, I started to find my calling. And that ends me up to where I am today, heading off to another YWAM school called SOMD, School of Ministry Development, and so much more is on the rise for me in my future. Now, I don't know everything God holds for me, but I do know that the passions He has given me as a person and the heart He has given me for Him is something He's going to use to grow His kingdom in so many amazing ways, and I can't wait to see what He has for my next steps. In future videos, I'll explain what YWAM is, what DTS is, and go into more detail about what I learned during these times. And I can't wait to do future ones of what I learned in the future and see what God has grown me in. But for now, that's a backstory onto how I got to where I am now, and I hope you get to know me a little better through it. Thank you guys so much for joining, and thank you to all my supporters, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to follow my call.